Are we ready? Okay, today we're talking about Lucy v. Zehmer from the Supreme Court of Virginia, 1954. And it's funny because you read the historical background and haven't heard the facts of the case. And when you told me about the background that you read, I was piecing that together with the facts of the case, and I was like, holy shit, this is an awesome story. So I don't know where to begin. Should I give the background first? I think I'm going to give my experience of reading the case. So this is just the case. And probably because I'm me, we'll circle back to background and then go to some more context and then get back to the case. So, what we have is, okay, we have two brothers, the Lucys, and they grew up scrappy, right? They didn't grow up with money. They lost a lot in the Depression, but they had hustle, right? Especially that older one. He got really into lumber and he learned a lot about it. And they said he was the kind of guy who could like stroll around a piece of property and be like, I know about pine and that property is worth like 20 grand. And he could make a reasonable estimate. This is a lot of background, but I'm trying to set the scene. And the family in this small town in Virginia, the Zehmers, they were like rich AF. They had cattle, like all these hustles going on. We're in the dairy business. Oh, we've got a restaurant. We've got a tourist center called Ye Old Virginia. Like they were everywhere. And they happened to own this farm called the Ferguson Farm. So one night, a few nights before Christmas, 1952, they're at some kind of diner, right? It's late. Everybody agrees there's alcohol. The booze is a-flowing. But I actually want to read some of the quotes that describe the booze and the state of intoxication. I was already high as a Georgia pine, and I didn't have any more better sense to put another great big slug out and gulp it down, and he took one too. There was a lot of drinking going on. We've got waitress testimony that Lucy came in and he was mouthy. He's got a mouth on him. And so there's a conversation between Lucy, one of the brothers, and Zehmer, and there's a little bit of difference differences in the testimony of the exact quote that were said, but it was some variation of Lucy saying, I bet you wouldn't take 50 grand for that place. This is Ferguson Farm. And Zehmer says, yes, I would. You wouldn't give 50 grand because you don't have 50 grand in cash. You're one of the Lucys. You're one of the classes below me. He doesn't know Lucy's been fucking hustling all his life, okay? And so he's like, I'll scribble something down. Where's a receipt? Yeah, I'll sell the farm for 50 grand here. And so Lucy takes a look at it and he says, well, I think you better put the missus on there too, don't you think? Now this is important. This part's important. The missus is over drinking her coffee on another booth, I guess. And he goes, now, honey, I need you to go along with this joke. This is a joke. We're gonna, this Lucy, he thinks he's got 50 grand and I'm gonna make him put his money where his mouth is. We're gonna humiliate him and show that he doesn't have 50 grand. I'm not actually gonna sell the family property. it's a joke. And so the wife says, okay, she signs it. All of a sudden, I'm going to show you. There's a picture. This is the second picture that's been in this book. The first was of a Ferrari. No, it wasn't. It was a Corvette. Okay, so we hereby agree. That's we. Something. We'll sell you this for 50 grand. And it looks pretty legit. And so Lucy's like, yes. Oh my God, I did it. He's visibly happy. He leaves. Next day, there's talk of the town. Did you hear? Ferguson Farm, Zehmer sold it for 50 grand. Now, 50 grand is a good price. Zehmer's bought it for 11 grand. And they don't know they're sitting on a gold mine of pine trees. So they think, oh, we got cattle. I mean, there's testimony. There's nothing of value in the property except the cows. Farm, buildings, 2 heads of cattle. That's right. Unbeknownst to them, Lucy has been surveying, and there's like a shit ton of pine. And I was going to show you, there's a chart showing the x-axis year, y-axis price. It's going right the fuck up. And so that's a hustler. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get into this pine business. I'm gonna be a lumberjack. I hear the ladies dig it. Lumberjack? So he's getting pussy left and right. He's making a bundle. Historians believe what he got for 50 grand, by 10 years he had made at least 142 grand off of it. But anyway, so yeah, there's talk of the town, and he's like, that was a joke. That contract's not valid. I was joking. We were drunk and we were joking. District court agrees with him. The contract is not enforceable. Here's a good quote. Great balls of fire, I got Ferguson for Ferguson. I have got the word satisfactory spelled wrong. I don't recognize that handwriting. If I would see it, wouldn't know if it was mine. Now, I don't know, it could be that he was drunk enough to not remember, but there's testimony that he was buzzed, but he was not that drunk. Also, the wife was like, hey, before Lucy left, he's like, you gonna help drive Lucy home? Is he good? So if they were drunk, the wife thought Lucy was drunker, and then he was like, I'm not much better off than he is. So yes, but I believe they all had capacity to consent to that agreement. And it doesn't matter what intention is, what your actions. If a reasonable man, that's what it says, if a reasonable man thinks that you made an agreement and you act like you are, like just sign, as one would, where they literally sign a written agreement. This is a signed contract. I mean, it's on a receipt, but still, they stamped it. They made it look a little bit legit. They've got one of those library card stampers. That's like letterhead. You know what I mean? When I send a letter as a psychiatrist, I use letterhead. Still me writing, but it looks legit. So we've got that. And the court basically says, this contract was legit. I don't care if you said it was a joke. You didn't act like it was a joke. And you got a great price. Because that's the thing. Here's the thing. Remember I made you watch that movie, A Civil Action with John Travolta? We had to watch that for a different class called Civil Procedure. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's this scene. Remember the scene where John Travolta, he's like negotiating with all those rich lawyer dudes from the corporations. And he wants to get like 500,000 or something. And he's like, I'm gonna try to get 500,000. And his buddies are like, you don't have a chance for 500,000. And then the other side is like, okay, here's the settlement. We'll give you 2 million. And then John Travolta's like, we want 50 million. Remember that scene? Because he realizes, oh my God, if they're willing to give me that, even though I would only ask for like 20 grand, if I was going to sell it, which he wasn't because this was his family property, then it's like, wow, did I get screwed here? Mm-hmm. So yes, you did. And that's what a hustle can do. Like,
yep.
You didn't grow up rich, but if you got the hustle, if you got the drive, if you're like Alexander Hamilton, you're gonna make it.